Hey guys. Now that view was a little bit better on a thumbnail. I've been hitting my thumbnails lately, but moving on from that. But yeah, videos like here again. And this will be the love doll video of this week or so. I have been incredibly busy. I know I keep on making an excuse, but like shit just keeps on coming up lately. I've been trying to do a lot of different things lately and learn new things lately. Of course, we'll still be trying to keep up with Love Doll videos at least every now and then, but things have just been a little bit hectic like recently. But here's some things in comments, questions that I've been seeing. So this one says, couldn't you have carved it out and melted it back to shape? $1,000 is a fuckload, especially for a toy. I said melting it wouldn't have helped. It would still be broke in that area, in the labia area, which is what I was talking about. This again is another comment, of somebody asking about that. Well, especially when it was in the area that it was at. I mean, let's say I carved it out, right? And got that mold out. Well, what that does is that makes another indent for dirt to get into. And since again TPE tends to absorb things, even if it's dirt, like if it's fine dirt, TPE will also try to absorb fine dirt. And so when that happens, and especially when it's something like some kind of food grade kind of thing, or food chemicals, food dirt, whatever, that is going to very easily get molded back into it, and you're just going to have the same problem all over again. So unless it's in an area where you don't really touch much, carving it out is very pointless to do. And you're just going to get mold anyway, and that's just going to be it. It's sad, but that's just how it is. And sadly, it was in an area that I touched the most. But moving on. Now, Tuplas and dolls and tech are a great combo, superior to human relationships. And I say that I know Tuplas are supposed to be like imaginary friends, but more advanced. It just depends. In some ways, a relationship with a love doll is better, or some ways, a relationship with a love doll is better. Excuse me. But in some ways, it's better with a person. And then he says, overall, the Tuplas seems to offer more love, the doll more physical satisfaction. Humans don't seem to be able to compete at all, to be honest. And so I'm not really going to judge this person, and I'm not going to be, mad at him for saying something like that. But it's just that, sometimes I think that there are people out there that, for whatever reason, have not been able, either don't know how to, or have been unable to find somebody who is good to them and is trustworthy. And it is sad sometimes that people are in situations like that. And I can tell that that's one of those cases. Because it's no offense to anybody that's watching this, but I have had at least a number of relationships that I have been satisfied with, and people that I care about, etc. And you can't replace something like that. And again, it sadly is something that not everybody has, and I know sometimes people will try to take for granted sometimes. But that's just my thoughts on the matter. So moving on from that, this next comment here, I have, excuse me, god damn it. I have 3 TPE dolls, and I agree they all feel the same. Some minor differences like skeletons, small skin tones. It's a matter of which faces you like. And I said agreed. Now, that was a video that I made a little while ago, but, it has a fair point in it that, getting more than 3, love dolls it's a lot of work, and it's like, why get the exact same doll sometimes when it's going to feel the same, and sometimes even look kind of similar to the other doll that you got. Now, if you switched out like a different head for a body that you liked, sometimes that might be more satisfactory, and it'd be cheaper to just have 3 different heads for a body that you like. But and like I said in that video, if you're able to afford 3 TPE dolls, you might as well just save up for something like a real doll or other high-end love doll. But moving on from that, says this person states, I think they might symbol. And this is what a love dolls symbolize. And this person states, I think they might symbolize for me the fact that dating and relationships are lots of work and take much time and efforts. Dealing with another human, especially in regards to a relationship, can be exhausting. The dolls are easy. They are beautiful, even though they are very expensive. I mean, aside from the fact that you have to carry him around, I mean, I'm not really, of course, judging what he says. It's just that nowadays, a lot of people are pressured into working in the workplace a lot more than they used to. It's funny how we have come up with inventions, like this invention here, the smartphone, and many other inventions to make our lives more simple. But the only problem is that it's made it so we have more time to go to work. And especially with something like a factory, the more parts you make, the more money you make. And just other workplaces that are kind of like that, it's made it so that, we have less excuse to be at work, or to not be at work, I mean. And with all the pressure that they're putting on people nowadays to be at work and to perform, it's made it so other things are harder, like getting into relationships or going out to have fun, and etc. It's made almost everything else harder. And of course, this is a good example of that. It's made relationships to a point where you come back from work, you're stressed out enough as is, and then you have to deal with your wife, then you have to deal with your kids, etc. And so a lot of people, just for a reason like that alone, are starting to opt out of getting married and getting into relationships because of it. And it is a problem that we are going to have to address. But moving on from that. And this person asked me, hey bro, I'm from Brazil. What is the smell of the love dolls? Now, I'm not really sure why he stated that he's from Brazil, but okay. I just said, well, they just smell like rubber or oil or both. I mean, it is kind of a rubber-based system, to say the least. But moving on from that, person states, good morning. They last long. You save to buy a new one, but how do you get rid of the broken ones? I said, sadly, you have to bring it to the dump. He says, that's inhuman. Doesn't the shops like recycle used dolls or something like that would be excellent? And I just stated, I wish they did. I mean, trust me, I seriously looked everywhere. No place recycles these love dolls. I mean, I would even pay money. I mean, if it's a reasonable amount of money at least, I would even pay to ship my love doll to get it recycled. Because that's a lot of fucking rubber, man. And it's a lot of waste. But the problem is that, I mean, there just isn't a place like that. And the rubber that these love dolls have is very different from what they recycle. And so, I mean, what can I say? I mean, there's just no place to recycle them. I wish there was, but there isn't. But moving on. Next one here. This person states, now this is on my how to shop for love dolls video. And he asks, about the sex doll shop, and I'd said I'd recommend a different place, but go ahead, I guess, if you want to go to the sex doll shop. I mean, if you want to go to a place and go there and shop for a love doll, I'm not going to stop you from doing it. But I mean, if it's a shitty place, I'm going to say something about it. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I would actually rather get something that I at least like than just getting something that I dislike, potentially. But moving on from that, the person states, I broke up with my GF after a year after the pandemic started, sunk seven plus grand hoping we'd progress as a couple. After she wasn't too keen on going to the next level, I wanted to get closer, and she was still distant. I decided that it was time to end it. And I, of course, said to him that it was probably for the best. And he states back, I have no regrets, and I haven't really looked back at it as a mistake. And I said, that's good. And, it's like I said, don't, regret something like that if you break up with somebody. It's sometimes in life you just kind of have to move on and find something different. The only good way to, move on is just to, change something in your life. I mean, just like when I moved out of high school, instead of keeping up with the people that I knew in high school, I just moved on. I pretty much stopped talking to them. If any of them came up to me and talked to me, I was fine with talking with them. I'm not an asshole by any means. So yeah, it was fine if they came up and talked to me, but I just moved on. High school can take years to get over, and so that's just what I did. And I just moved on. What else can I say? And what else can you really do? If I didn't move on, then I'd be stuck with, this stress all the time, basically. So, moving on from that. This person states on my, what if somebody touches their love doll video? You handle it a lot calmer than I would have. I would have told the friend to go fuck themselves. And if they came near... Seriously. It's disconnected or unstable. Okay, just one moment. Here, I'll keep on going here. Yeah, I will have told him to go fuck himself near my home. Or me again, I'm going to fuck you up. Lots of laughs. Yeah, I know some people get beat up over this kind of stuff. And he said, I hear you, dude. I'm not a very violent person. One time I let a guy play my drums, and while I was shooting pool with his family, he moved my drum set around and it set up perfectly for myself. I told them he wasn't welcome in my house anymore. They understood and never came back to my home. And I'll just stop reading that one for the moment. Let's see. So yeah, that's the end of that. I'm stopping and just skipping the rest of that comment there because it looks like my internet is unstable, and so I'm going to stop the video here. But of course, if you guys have any more questions, comments, etc., you can go ahead and place them down, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.